So hello and welcome to this week's Yoga Club. As always, your practice, whether watching by video or here live, is at your own risk, and do pay attention to your body and how you're feeling tonight. Only doing things that your body is good for you to do. Feel free to miss things out or to take the lighter options that I'll offer. We're going to start the class lying down, so if you want to come to a good Shavasana pose, so that might mean lying down on your back, feet out to the corners of your mat, hands away from your body, your palms turned up. If you've got any discomfort in your lower back, which you might have after your day, however your day's been, you could bend your knees so that will help to release your back. And as soon as your back's easing, you can then stretch your legs out. So not trying to do anything in particular at first, just giving yourself some time, allowing you to bring yourself fully into today's class, allowing you to let go of your day, ready for your practice. When you're ready, you can then start to bring your attention into your body, being aware of your breath. Just noticing the next few breaths. Seeing if you can follow a breath right from the start of the inhale all the way through to the end of the exhale. Knowing that your mind may well wander away from that, and if it does, just gently guide it back to your breath. Then starting to direct the expansion of your inhales down into your abdomen. So as you inhale, you'll feel your abdomen rise. As you exhale, your abdomen will gently fall. As if the whole breath is all going into your abdominal area. Once you have that sense of the rise and fall of your abdomen, then just try without tensing in any way, filling up as much as you can on your inhale. So you're letting your abdomen lift as if you're filling it completely full, but stopping short of tensing. And as you exhale, squeezing all the air out, letting your abdomen gently fall, but then maybe drawing your navel in a little with your abdominal muscles so you can squeeze a last bit of air out. So you're drawing as much air in as you can on the inhale, expelling as much air as you can on the exhale, but keeping it relaxed, keeping it calm. Taking one more breath. And releasing the abdominal breathing practice and bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Picking up your right foot and bringing your right knee in towards your chest. Taking your arms either around the back of your knee or around the front of your knee. Pulling your knee gently towards your chest. And as you do that, you can also flex your right foot so that your right toes are heading up towards your knees. And in this position, especially with you drawing your knee down to your chest, you've closed your three main leg joints. Your ankle's closed because you're flexing it up, your toes up to your knee. Your knee joint is as closed as it can be, and your hip joint is as closed as it can be. So release your hands down to the side, palms turned up, and then straighten your leg up towards the ceiling, pointing your toes to the ceiling. And as you do that, you've now opened those joints. Your ankle joint and knee joints are fully open. And to open your hip joint a little more, you could take your straight leg down towards the ground. That's opening that joint as you take it down. And then we're going to make a circular movement. So bringing your leg back in, your knee coming in, your foot flexing, and then taking it up to the ceiling, pointing your toes back down to the ground, and then just keeping that movement going. A nice steady circle that's opening and closing those three joints as you cycle round. We're not quite opening the hip joints as big as fully open as it will go. To do that, you'd need to take your foot down through the floor. We'd need to be standing to allow you to do that. But it's coming half open. Taking that in the other direction, so changing the direction of the rotation. And taking one more trip around with your right leg. When you've completed that rotation, landing your right foot down. Then picking up your left foot, taking your arms around your knee to draw your left knee firmly in towards your chest. I might have just said right, but I meant left. Again, close those joints, so flexing your left foot, so your ankle is closing, your knees closed, your hip joints closed. Taking your hands then down by your side, stretching that leg up towards the ceiling, pointing your toes to the ceiling, making that leg as straight as you can. And then lowering to the ground and starting the rotation with the left leg, opening and closing those joints. A good thing to do before going for a run or a ride, just to get those joints moving, particularly if you're rolling out of bed straight into activity. This is a good way to wake up those joints before you hit the road. Then taking the rotation in the other direction. Making sure you're flexing that foot as your knees coming into your chest. And then taking one more trip around and landing your left foot down. At that point, stretching both legs out, taking your arms up above your head, interlacing your fingers, pointing your palms away if that's comfortable. If you've got a bit of wall behind you, you can then just press your hands against whatever's behind you. Pointing your toes, stretching your legs long, pressing your hands behind you, stretching your whole body long, feeling yourself lengthen and narrow. Then release the stretch. As you next exhale, bring your hands by your side and come from there up to sitting, and from sitting up to standing, ready for sun salutations. So coming to the top of your mat, bringing your feet together, letting your hands relax by your side. And then with your hands relaxing, you can start to press your feet down, lifting the crown of your head to the ceiling. Again, stretching long, relaxing your shoulders back and down, lifting the top of your chest, tilting up towards the ceiling. So coming into that good posture, we'll take 2 breaths before we begin our first round. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, palms together at the center of your chest. Press your palms together, lifting your elbows, relaxing your shoulders. Lift your hands up towards the ceiling. As you stretch your hands up, tilting your rib cage up to the ceiling. So that means you're taking the bottom of your rib cage and just tilting that up, so that between your rib cage and your hips is still, that stays upright. All the tilt comes in the upper part of your upper body. Then from your hips, slowly stretching forward and all the way down, bending your knees as much as you need so your fingertips make contact with the ground. Once you're there, your neck muscles can relax. That lets your head hang heavy, And as your upper body relaxes over your legs, that helps you to stretch your legs out. Take your right leg all the way back. Once you're there, let your gaze lift, let your hips relax, pressing your right heel away. So it's as if you've got a straight line from your front knee all the way to the back of your heel. Send your left leg back, coming to our first down face dog. Upside down V, hips lifting as high as you can, hands pressing down to the ground, heels pressing down to the ground. Coming forward to plank, so your shoulders end up over your wrists. Again, a straight line now from the back of your neck all the way to your heels. Lower your knees, followed by your chest. Make contact with chin, or maybe your forehead. Press forward as you then lift your face and lift your chest. Shoulder blades relax down your back, elbows coming in close to your body. Toes can then tuck and you can lift your hips back to down face dog, taking them back to your heels first if you want and straighten your legs, or directly up. Hands press forward, heels press down, hips lift. We're going to stretch our calves here. If we end up here longer than you need, do feel free to bring your knees down if you need to. Bending your right knee, and as you next exhale, firmly pressing your left heel to the ground, feeling the stretch in your left calf. Inhale as you swap that over, so you're now bending your right knee, exhaling left heel firmly down. Inhale, swap, exhale, right heel to the mat. Inhaling, swap, exhale, left heel. One more on each side. Inhale as you swap that over. Exhale, right heel pressing down. Inhale, swap. Exhale, left heel. And press your right heel down to join the left. Reset your dog if you have the energy. Hips lifting, hands forward, heels down. Look between your hands, bringing your right foot through. Lift your gaze, relax your hips. Bringing your left foot through, forward fold for a moment, knees bent as much as you need, then reach and stretch all the way up. Arms lift to the ceiling, looking between your hands, hands come down. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Stretch and reach your arms up, lifting your arms a little higher to the ceiling as you then take your arms back, tilting your armpits up to the ceiling. From your hips, stretching forward and all the way down, fingertips in line with your toes on the mat, neck muscles relaxing. Left leg all the way back. Lift your gaze, relax your hips. So you should feel a good stretch in your right hip flexor there. Then sending your other foot back. Right foot back, sorry. Hips lift on high, taking your weight back towards your feet. Coming forward to plank. Looking between your hands, shoulder blades ease back. Lowering down. If you're feeling strong, you could take your elbows back and lower in one straight line. Otherwise, knees, then chest, or maybe a combination. Lifting your face, lifting your chest, shoulder blades ease back in cobra. Then toes tuck and hips lift. Hands press forward and down, heels press down, hips lift on high. Taking your chest back towards your knees, feeling your armpits lower, feeling your armpits come back. Looking between your hands, bringing your left foot through. Pressing your right heel away in your lunge. Springing your right foot through, relaxing into forward fold. Head hanging heavy. Reach and stretch up. Your arms arc up to the ceiling, looking between them. And hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to take one more round. We'll flow this with our breath. So I'll offer you a breath to go with each of the moves. If you're able to align with the breath, please do. But if that gets in the way, focus on the moves. Hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting. We begin with our rest breath, no movement. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up, and then tilting back. Exhale, forward and all the way down, fingers in line with your toes. Inhale, right leg back, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot back, lifting your hips high in down face dog. Inhale, forward to plank, looking between your hands. Exhale to lower, knees then chest or one straight line. Inhaling, press forward, lifting your chest, shoulder blades relax. Exhale, toes tuck and hips lift. Hands forward, heels down. Inhale, right foot through between your hands, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold, relaxing with that exhale. Inhale, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, left leg back, letting your hips relax towards the ground. Exhale, right foot back. Hips lift on high now as your heels press down. Inhale, forward to plank. Shoulder blades ease down, you're back in plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, hands press forward, chest towards your knees. Inhale, right foot through. Oh, that's the wrong foot, isn't it? Exhale the other foot through. Relaxing here for a moment. And inhale, stretch and reach all the way up. Exhale, hands down. Coming to face the front, taking your hands apart. Couple of breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Wonderful. My left and right went a bit awry there, I think, but everybody seemed to be doing the right thing. So come to lying down on your mat. Finding Shavasana for a moment. Hands turned up, hands away from your body, palms turned up. With your awareness, just take it to wherever in your body can hold your attention. So that could be the back of your body against the ground, it could be your breath, it could be any of the any feelings or sensations in your body from having done our sun salutations. So next we're going to take a lying down twist. This twist is an ideal thing to do after running or riding as a cool down stretch. In part because it's something that you can do lying down, but also because it gives a good stretch of the spine, really remobilizing it after being stuck in one position riding bike or having been constantly pounding the feet forwards running. So to prepare, bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, feet hip distance apart. Take your arms out at shoulder height, pressing your arms away from you. Picking up your right foot, placing your right ankle on your left knee. We need to move our hips 2 or 3 inches to the right. So press into your left foot, pick up your hips, move them 2 or 3 inches to the right and place them back down. Then with your arms and shoulder blades pressing firmly into the ground, maybe stretching your hands a little wider apart. As you next exhale, slowly take both legs over to the left hand side. So your aim is to, if you can, land the sole of your right foot onto the ground, the outer edge of your left leg. You may not go there straight away, just take it out as far as is easy for you to do. Then once you're as low as you can go, take your left hand onto your right knee. And then with your left hand on your right knee, start to guide that knee towards the ground, being aware of your right shoulder blade. You want to keep a connection between the right shoulder blade and the ground. So if the right shoulder blade lifts off, ease back a little on the knee, and that will allow that shoulder blade to come back down. So you're getting a twist of the spine, you're getting a stretch of your right ITB here as well. Then using your breath as you inhale, repress your shoulder blade down. As you exhale, press your knee a little closer to the ground. So that gradually, breath by breath, increases the angle that you've got between your knee and your right arm. Then developing this into a hamstring stretch, turning your head to look to the left. You can then straighten out your top leg, taking a hold of it from underneath, as close towards your ankle as you can reach. You could be above your knee, you might be below your knee, you might be close to your foot. Now if you find that you are holding around your knee, then you might want to take, if you've got one, a belt and place it around your foot. If you have got a grip between your knee and more towards your ankle, then you can use your hand. Wherever you are, allow your foot to come as close to the ground as it can reach, and then start to ease that leg up towards the wall that's above your head. If your hand is near your knee and you don't have a belt, then use your hand to hold your knee in position and use your leg muscles to lift that leg back towards the wall above your head. So the aim here is to be getting a stretch down the back of the leg, either using the belt or the hand or the leg muscles. Maybe using your next two breaths so that as you breathe out, you take that as the chance to lift that leg a little higher towards that wall. Then releasing, bending your top knee, bring your knees towards each other, and then lift your knees up towards the ceiling. Once you're there, you can reset. Bring your hips back to the middle. Have your arms stretching out again at shoulder height. Then picking up your right foot, placing your left foot, placing your left ankle on your right knee. Picking up your hips, moving them 2 or 3 inches to the left. And really anchoring your arms down, anchoring your hands down, anchoring your shoulder blades down. So you get that strong line at the top of your body. As you next exhale, take both legs over to the right hand side. There's no rush, let that happen nice and steadily. The slower you take it, the lower they'll go. Taking them as low to the ground as that left shoulder blade allows, then bringing your right hand onto your left knee, keeping your shoulder blade pressing down, starting to guide that knee towards the ground. Again, taking that nice and steadily. Once your knee's gone as low as it can easily go, you could begin to use your breath. So as you inhale, you press your left shoulder blade down, and as you exhale, you ease your knee a little lower. So it feels a bit like a seesaw action between shoulder blade and knee. Taking one more breath, turning your head to look to the right. Straightening out your left leg, taking a hold, a good firm grip from underneath with your right hand, as close towards your ankle as you can reach. Placing a belt around your foot if you've got one and your hand is nearer your knee. Bringing your foot as close to the ground as your left shoulder blade allows. And then using your belt or your right hand to ease that leg to the wall that's now above your head. Using your leg muscles as well as your arm strength to lift that leg higher, feeling the stretch down the back of that leg. 2 more breaths, use the exhale. As you exhale, let your leg ease higher. Releasing that stretch, releasing your leg, bending your left knee. Knees come towards each other. Lifting your knees up to the center and stretching your legs out. Taking your hands above your head, interlacing your fingers and pointing your palms away. If your shoulders aren't keen on that, then have your hands separate, toes pressed forward, hands stretch back. Another stretch of the whole body. Then release that stretch, bring your hands over by your side and come to standing. So taking our ITB stretch, today focusing more on the top end of the ITB. So standing with your feet hip distance apart, hands relaxing by your side, crossing your left foot over your right, and taking your left hand onto your left hip. Then just making sure that you're standing so that if there was a wall behind you and that wall was sufficiently close to be touching your shoulder blades, both your shoulder blades would be touching it evenly. So it's just trying to make sure that your upper body stays is nice and straight to your hips. Then when you're ready, start to tilt over to the left hand side. And once you've tilted as far as you easily can go, you can then start to press your hips over to the right. So you're pressing your right hip rightwards. Maybe relaxing a little more to the left, as if your left elbow has become quite heavy, making sure that your shoulder blades are still evenly on the wall behind you if there was one. Then we'll take this with our breath. You want to keep your back foot pressing firmly down, your left foot is just loosely on the ground. As you next inhale, bring yourself back up. And then as you next exhale, tilt back over to the left. Inhaling, press your right hip out to the right. And exhaling, relax more to the left. Inhale, lifting back up. We're going to take 2 more. As you exhale, tilt back to the left. Inhale, press your right hip to the right. Exhaling, relax left a little more. 1 more. Inhale, coming back upright. Exhale as you tilt left. Inhaling, press your right hip right. Exhaling, relax left. This now should be the maximum stretch down the outside of that hip, feeling where your ITB connects, then coming back up. Uncross your legs, maybe have a little mid shake. Crossing your right foot over your left this time. Back leg straight, back foot presses into the ground. Front knees bent, leg just resting on the ground. Leveling up so that you're square against the invisible wall that's behind you. Taking your right hand onto your right hip, and then when you're ready, tilting over to the right. Pressing your left hip out to the left a little more. Relaxing to the right a little more. 3 more then of these with our breath. As you inhale, coming back upright. As you exhale, tilt to the right. Inhale, press your left hip leftwards. Exhale, relax more right. Elbows heavy. Inhaling, come back up. 2 more. Exhale, tilt right. Inhale, press your left hip to the left. Exhale, tilt and relax right. Inhale, coming back up. Exhaling, relaxing right. Inhale, press your left hip to the left. Exhale, final relax right. Elbows really heavy, feeling the final stretch down your left hip. Then coming back up. Uncrossing your legs, feet hip distance apart, hands on your hips. Yeah, doing whatever feels right. But maybe taking a twirl around of your wrist. That just releases where you stretch those muscles and stretch your ITB over your hips. Then taking that in the other direction. Bringing that to a halt. And then from there, coming towards the back of your mat so that you are kneeling on your knees. And then taking your hands and placing the L shape of your hands firmly into your elbows. So you've got a really, really good solid grip of your elbows. Taking your arms down and placing them onto the ground. Have a little adjust there so that you have got your elbows are under your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. You can then let go of your elbows and stretch your hands out in front of you, bringing your palms together and then interlacing your fingers nice and tight. So you've now got this strong triangle made of your forearms, and you want to be pressing that firmly into the ground. Draw your navel up towards your spine. As you do that, you'll feel your back level. And then as you next exhale, slowly take your upper body forward so that your head passes over your hands, just coming as far forward as you are comfortable to go, as your shoulders are comfortable to go, and as you're confident you can get back from. Then as you inhale, bring yourself back over your hands. As you next exhale, start to sit your hips back down towards your heels, coming back now as far as your shoulders are comfortable to go. Then as you next inhale, come back up towards your hands. And then keep that going with your breath so that every time you exhale, you move away from your hands, this time coming forward. And every time you inhale, you come back towards them. And then just keep that going with your breath. Tuning into how your shoulders are feeling, taking this as far as your shoulders are comfortable to go. Keeping your tight grip on your hands, keeping your elbows underneath, keeping your elbows in to where they were before. So you've got that strong stabilizing triangle. Now if as you do this, you're thinking, I'd like this to be a little bit stronger, what you could do is you could tuck your toes under and straighten your legs and take this with straight legs in just the same way. Taking 2 more if you have them, but knowing if you've done enough, then you can rest down. So it's a nice bit of work for the core. It's also really stretching, working and opening the shoulders. So bringing yourself back to the center, lowering your knees if you straightened your legs, and then sitting down towards your heels, so coming into a child's pose. Bringing your hips as close to your heels as you can, and then resting your forehead down towards the ground. If your forehead doesn't easily touch the ground, then you could place a block or a brick under your forehead, or make fists with your hands, placing 1 or 2 fists underneath your forehead. Just take a few breaths there, letting everything relax and rest. And bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to lift back up, and coming to sit so that your legs are stretched out in front of you on your mat. So we're going to take a forward fold, As always with forward folds, do feel free to take a block. If sitting upright like this, you find yourself having to work hard to hold you here, that would be a good reason to take a block. Or if you know when you do a forward fold, you struggle to bring your body very far forward, that would be another good reason to be sitting on a block. So we're going to take a forward fold, which is there's a pose in yoga called cow face pose. This is a form of cow face pose. To prepare, pick up your right foot and cross your right foot over your left leg. Once you've done that, then bring that foot further back. So you're bringing it alongside your left hip. And as you do that, your knee will come forward and lower down over your left knee. Now, you're aiming to have that knee right above the other knee, but your body may well not take you there, in which case you're just bringing that top knee as close to the bottom knee as you are easily able to do. And you might find you need to have a little bit of a shuffle of your hips just to sort of jiggle that to bring yourself into this position. Then take your left foot and just move it across that midway line. So your left foot has moved over to the right. Bringing yourself then so that you're holding your left ankle, your right ankle in your left hand, and you've got your right hand on your right knee. Then, lifting your chest so you're sitting up as straight as you can. And when you're ready, starting to fold your upper body towards your right knee. And your focus is on bringing your navel towards your right knee. As you do that, you'll feel a stretch developing down the outside of that left leg and a little bit of a stretch happening in that left hip. So focusing on bringing your navel forward as well as your chest. And then we can do a few things to refine this a little. The first is thinking about your left foot stretched out in front. You could just press the big toe side of your foot away from you a little. And as you do that, you might find the little toe side comes in towards you a little. And that'll give you a bit more stretch down the outside of the lower leg. You might also find you can take your right hand and take a hold of the outside of your left foot. You may also find that that is too big a stretch for you, in which case you could maybe take a hold somewhere along that leg. And then just use your next few breaths so that as you breathe in, you lengthen from the bottom of your spine up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, you just relax forward a little more, bringing your navel towards that knee. So you're going tall through the front body, through the upper body on the inhale. You're relaxing forward and down on the exhale. One more breath. As you next inhale, slowly lifting back up. Uncrossing your legs, maybe having a shake on the midway. Stretching your legs back out and picking up your left foot, crossing it over the right. And then bringing that foot alongside your right hip as much as you can. So you're bringing it as up towards you as you can, letting your left knee come down over your right knee. So you're aiming to get your knee, the top knee, as close to the bottom knee as you can, but we are all made differently, so our knees will end up in different places. So you're just bringing that to where yours easily comes. Taking your right foot, crossing it, taking it over to the left. So you're taking it past the midline if you can. And then with your right hand on your left ankle, your left hand on your left knee. Sit yourself up and grow tall. And then as you next exhale, start hinging forward at your hips, bringing your navel towards your left knee. As you do that, you might find you need to just walk your buttocks back a little, pointing your toes up to the ceiling, feeling that stretch start to develop in the back of the right leg, in the right hip, down the outer edge of the right leg. Growing tall up through the crown of your head. Maybe pressing the big toe side of your right leg away from you. And maybe taking your left hand and taking hold of the outside of your right leg, your right foot. Only if that's an easy reach. Using your next few breaths, inhale, lengthening and growing tall through to the crown of your head, exhaling, seeing if you can relax your upper body forward towards that knee anymore. I can see a few grimaces. If it's a grimace, then you might need to ease back a little. Taking one more breath. As you next inhale, slowly bringing yourself back up. Uncrossing your legs and just taking a little shake of your legs there. That looks like quite a nice thing to do, Marcus. Let's all do that. Maybe just bring your feet together. And then maybe just take a little butterfly of your knees just to ease out your hips. Then bringing that to a halt and coming to lie on your front, ready to do some work for our backs. So before we start, have one hand on top of the other and bring your forehead onto your hands. And then just to finally ease out of our hips, just take a rock of your hips side to side. Bring that rocking to a halt, and then your hands underneath your shoulders, ready for two cobras. So hands are under your shoulders, tips of your fingers line up to the top of your shoulders, elbows in close, forehead rests on the mat. With your forehead relaxing on the mat, take your shoulders up and back, so they're up to the ceiling and then down towards your feet. A little up and back movement. As you next inhale, lift your face so you're looking forward. With your next inhale, lift your chest away from the mat. Nice and slowly, shoulder blades ease down your back. Elbows coming close, chest eases forward. Keeping your breath smooth, taking one more breath. As you exhale, slowly lowering back down, resting your forehead on the mat. Let your upper body relax completely so your shoulders can relax down to the mat. And then, with your forehead on the mat, take your shoulders up and back so your shoulders are ready for action. Then as you inhale next, lift your face to look forward. Then as you next inhale, lifting your chest away from the mat. Your hands are light on the ground. All this lift is coming from your back. Shoulder blades relaxing down, elbows in close, heading towards the back of the room as your chest heads forward. One more breath. As you exhale, lowering down, hands underneath your forehead, resting your forehead or cheek onto your hands. So we're going to build up to bow pose, Dhanurasana, and we're going to get there first of all with some half bow as a warm-up. So come up so that you are on your elbows with your elbows underneath your shoulders. So this allows you to now get a nice lift, elbows under your shoulders, hands in, so your hands are alongside your elbows. From here, bend your left knee and press your left hip crease down into the ground. So that's that point just at the top of your leg where it joins your hips. Press that into the ground. That brings your left heel in a little closer, so that you can then take your left hand around, all the way around, and see if you can catch a hold of your left ankle. So you might find it helps to press that left hip crease down into the ground a little to help you to catch a hold. Once you've caught a hold, if you can, make sure you've got your right arm in front of you so that your right arm is supporting you. So you are feeling stable. Charles, what you might want to do is maybe take a belt around your ankle, which maybe Kim could help you to get around your ankle. So from here, while we're here, we're going to take a stretch of our quads. So with the hold of your ankle and with your right forearm pressing firmly into the ground, keeping you nice and stable, press your left hip crease into the ground and draw your ankle and heel towards your buttock. So you're pressing your hips down into the ground, you're drawing your ankle down, and you should feel then a good stretch happening in your left quad. Maybe taking your left shoulder back so you're getting a stretch in your shoulder too. This is like what we do if we did a quad stretch standing, but it's a little bit stronger if we do it here lying on the ground. Then, turning this into the back bend, releasing your heel a little, but keeping a hold of your ankle. You could then maybe start to press your ankle into your hand. And as you do that, you might find you could maybe lift your knee away from the ground a little, pressing that left hip crease into the ground. So you won't get much lift, if any, of that knee, but just send that signal to be lifting it, stretching your left arm back. Then release your ankle, bringing your hand back in front of you. Take a breather there. Then bend your right knee. So you're bringing your right ankle in towards you. Pressing your right hip crease down and then reaching your right arm all the way around to see if you can catch a hold of your ankle or taking a belt. Making sure you've got your left forearm underneath you. Keeping your hip crease pressing into the ground. And then drawing that heel in towards your buttock so that you're getting that quad stretch. And as you draw the heel into your buttock, keep the hip crease pressing down. Maybe pressing that knee away from you just to increase that stretch, allowing your shoulder to open back, stretching your shoulder out as well. Taking one more breath. And then starting to press the ankle into your hands a little. As your ankle presses into your hands, you may find your chest lifts up, keeping your left forearm pressing and holding you firmly against the ground. Maybe seeing if you can lift your knee a little bit away from the ground as you press your right hip crease down. Again, it's sending the signal rather than necessarily getting much lift. From there, releasing, letting go of your ankle, bringing your hands underneath your forehead and resting your forehead onto your hands. Or a cheek. So we're going to take full bow next. So to prepare for full bow, stretch both arms out in front of you, bringing your forehead to the ground, just relaxing your upper body, bending your knees so your feet are lifting, pressing your hip creases into the ground, so you're sort of thrusting forward into the ground, I guess. Then lifting your arms and reaching your arms all the way around. Seeing if you can catch hold of your ankles. If you can't, that's fine. You can keep your arms not connected to your ankles, pointing up, keeping your toes pointing up to the ceiling, and you can still get a lift of your chest without having to have hold of your ankles. If you've got a hold of your ankles, then you could maybe start to press your ankles into your hands. That will let your chest lift a little higher and maybe lift your knees away from the ground. If you're not connected to your ankles, that's fine. Focus on lifting your arms up to the ceiling, lifting your chest, pointing your toes up to the ceiling, lifting your knees. Wherever you are, pressing your hip creases into the ground and keeping your breath nice and smooth. Taking one more breath, a final lift if you've got it. And as you next exhale, releasing, letting your knees relax down, stretching your legs out, hands come underneath your forehead, resting your forehead or cheek onto your hands and taking complete rest. Just being aware of your heart rate, being aware of your breathing, reflecting the amount of work in both toes. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and pressing yourself up to hands and knees, where we'll take a little bit of cat-cow to release the back out. Wrists under shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. When you're ready, tucking your tailbone under, tucking your head under and arching your back up towards the ceiling. So coming to cat. And then as you next inhale, lifting your face, lifting your tailbone, letting the back of your waist dip down to the ground. Keeping that going with your own breath. So as you exhale, you come back to cat, tucking head and tailbone under. As you inhale, coming back to cow, head and tailbone lifting. Next time you find yourself in cat, holding cat for a moment, pressing your hands into the mat, pressing your knees and your feet, lifting your back up towards the ceiling. Relaxing to release that and slowly sitting your hips down to your heels. Taking your arms forward, bringing your head down towards the ground, placing something under your forehead or your fists under your forehead if your forehead doesn't easily touch the ground. Maybe if you want, choosing to open or close your knees. Maybe adjusting whether your hands are in front of you or down by your feet. Finding your most comfortable and relaxing child's pose and using your breath then to relax a little more deeply with every exhale. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to come back upright, and coming from there to standing, ready to take our standing postures. In fact, we'll come from here into a balance. We haven't done a balance for a while. So for our balance, we're going to take a balance sequence. So it's a series of moves. Now you want to make sure, we're going to come to aeroplane at one point, so you want to make sure you've got enough room to lift your leg up behind you. When you're ready then, come to standing with your hands relaxing by your side, shoulders relaxing, feet firm against the ground. Key to this sequence is taking it nice and slowly. Maybe having a point on the floor that's going to hold your gaze, and then slowly lifting your right knee in up towards you. Once your knee's lifted, taking your hands around the front of your knee or the back of your knee, drawing it towards your chest. Then taking your left hand out to the side as you then slowly take your right knee out to the right. And this is like opening a book. You want the book to be as open as you can, pressing your left hand left, taking your knee out to the right. Very slowly bring that knee back to the center. Once it's delivered, take your right hand out to the right. From here, start to tilt forward, taking your right knee underneath you. Once your knee's gone underneath you, then stretch that leg out behind you. Just lifting the leg as high as your balance allows, keeping your arms stretched out, your wings stretched out wide. Then very slowly starting to come back up, bending your right knee as you do so, so your foot comes underneath you, lifting your foot up to your chest, and then lowering everything to the ground. Very nice. Taking a shake of your left leg before we do it all over again on the other side. So feet hip distance apart, hands relaxing by your side. Slowly picking up your left knee, drawing it up towards your chest. Bringing your hands around the knee, drawing it in a little closer. Keeping your gaze maybe on a spot just in front of you on the floor. Taking your right arm out to the right. Slowly taking your left knee out to the left. So opening that book as wide as you comfortably can. And slowly bringing the knee back. Once the knee is delivered, left arm stretches to the left. Your wings are forming, stretching your hands wide, slowly tipping forward. Keeping your knee bent as it comes underneath you, but then starting to straighten it out, taking as high as your balance allows. Arms stretch wide, left heel stretches back. And nice and slowly coming back up, bending your left knee as you do so it can come back underneath you. Slowly lifting up towards your chest, and then everything can relax down. Taking a shake of your legs, easing that out, and then from there getting yourself ready for final relaxation. So maybe finding a cushion or something to put behind your head if you find that makes you more comfortable, putting on any warm clothes. Bringing yourself then to your final Shavasana pose. Feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, your palms turned up. Adjusting as much as you need, particularly if you've got any discomfort in your lower back, you could take a bend of your knees. Or just if that would be more comfortable, take a bend of your knees. Making any final adjustments to your posture. Bringing your attention then to your breathing once more. Taking a few abdominal breaths. So as we did at the beginning of the class, a few breaths where you're sending the inhalation into your abdomen, allowing your abdomen to rise as you breathe in, and gently fall as you breathe out. As you breathe out, allowing any tension, anything that you're holding on to go. Releasing everything. Allowing your body to relax fully and completely against the ground. Knowing that you could keep your attention on your breath if you wanted to, but also knowing there's absolutely nothing you need to do for the next couple of minutes except relax and rest. Keeping your body still for a few more moments, gently bringing your awareness and attention back. Maybe tuning in any noises that there are in the room or outside the room that you're in. Bringing movement back when you're ready with wriggle of your fingers and a wriggle of your toes. Bringing your legs together, taking your arms up above your head, having a gentle stretch out, hands stretch back, toes press forward. Releasing that stretch, bending your knees, bringing your knees one then the other onto your chest. Your arms can come over to hug your knees in. So staying lying down, taking a rock side to side. Bringing your rocking to a halt in the centre and drawing your knees a little closer to your chest, lifting your head and chest up towards your knees. Then landing your head back down, landing your feet back down. And from there, maybe coming to your right hand side for a few breaths. Then bringing yourself up to sitting in your own time. So wonderful to see you all. Thank you very much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you.